So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. Now in today's video guys, we actually have some custom tactics for the best wide formation in my opinion on FC24. Now I don't usually like wider formations, but this 4-3-3-4 I actually do really like, and the reason I like it is because you can still be creative and varied with it whilst also having a bit of width to your team. Usually with a lot of wide formations you're very restricted to doing one thing all the time, which is why I don't like it. But with this 4-3-3-4 with the cam and everything works really nicely. You can still play through the middle as well as playing out wide, so it is one of the few wide formations I actually like, yeah, we do have some tactics for you right now. I hope you enjoy, guys. If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. Okay then guys, so starting off with the custom tactics, the defensive style, as always, I prefer to have this on balance. Now, I like to have this on balance because it does give you the best control over your defense, in my opinion. So, when you put balanced on, basically you can pick and choose when and where you press with your defenders. So, it's really nice and controlled, something that the pressure tactics do not give you. So, balanced is the way to go for me. For the width, guys, I prefer a more narrow and compact width. So, anything below 45, I would say, is a good defensive width because you don't want your opponent to be able to run right through the middle of you, but you still don't want to have your width crazy low because it's still important to have a bit of natural width to cover the wings when necessary. Now for the depth, guys, there are a few things you can do with the depth. You can go with the 71 depth thing, which a lot of people still like to use. I don't think after the past couple of updates that this is necessary anymore. It did get nerfed, it's not an absolute must, so you can use 71 depth for the automatic press if you like. What I like to do is use 60 depth, so we have a bit of a higher defensive line, but we don't have that automatic press. So you have the high defensive line, which I like, but your players aren't always pressing like crazy, so it gives you more control. If this is still too high for you, you can lower your depth, and that is absolutely fine, guys. Now moving on to the build-up play, I have this on balanced as well. The reason I like balanced is because it gives you the most varied form of build-up. So when you want to play slow, for example, you can do that. And then if you want to play a bit faster and speed it up, you can also do that. So it allows you to pick and choose which style you want to use and when you want to use it, which is why I suggest it so much. For the chance creation, guys, now this one is an absolute must in my opinion, and that is direct passing. Now a lot of these tactics you can do what you want for, but I think direct passing is still very important in this game because it's the only setting which will allow you to break through that park the bus defense. So basically, when you use this direct passing setting, when your opponent is camped in his box with all of his players back defending, direct passing will mean your attackers will commit these runs forward. They'll go on these runs, and then the defender will follow that run, and then once the defender's followed that run, the attacker will then track back, so you can cut back to them. It also usually backs your attackers up against the defender, so you can do the 1v1 ISO plays. So direct passing, a little bit boring, but very effective nonetheless, guys. Now for the attacking width, because this is a wider formation, I do like to have this just above 50. This is so we do obviously utilize the width of this formation. We don't want to make it something it's not and have it crazy narrow because that's not good. And on the flip side, you also don't want to have it too wide because then your players are just too far apart from each other. So something really balanced is like 50 to 55, I would say. Moving on to the players in box, guys, I have this on 6. This is so I can get a few players into the box, but we don't overcommit absolutely everybody on the team. And then corners and free kicks, guys, you can basically do what you want with that. I just have it on 2 at the moment, but again, just do whatever you want. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but I have noticed around 90% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you are enjoying the content or finding it helpful, please consider adding that subscription as it does help me out massively. Also, don't forget to drop a like on the video as well. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you enjoy. Let's continue. Now, moving on to the player instructions, guys. On this striker, I just have them on the stay central and mixed attack instruction. Now, we have them on stay central because this player is our striker, of course. We want them to primarily be in the central positions, ready to pick up the ball and finish off our chances. With some narrow formations, you can leave this player on balanced width because sometimes you might need this player to get into a wider position to help you out. But in a formation where you've already got wingers and wide players, I don't think it's necessary to have them drifting out wide. So stay central for that, and then mixed attack as opposed to getting behind for me, because you don't always just want this player running in behind. You know, since it's a one striker lineup, I sometimes think it's important for them to do a bit more in the build up to help you out there, other times to run in behind. So mixed attack, in my opinion, is the best attacking instruction on this striker. Now, moving on to both of the wingers, guys, I don't actually have them on comeback on defense, so this won't defend as a 4-man in the midfield, but the reason I've done this and left them on basic defensive support is because I think it's much better to attack the moment you win the ball back, because if you have these players on comeback on defense and make it a 4-man midfield, yes, it's really solid defensively, but you're going to be slower to get going on the attack because these players will always be really far back, so leaving them on basic defensive support leaves your opponent liable to counter attacks when you win the ball back, which is why I like it. So we have them on cut inside, get in behind and get into the box across. The cut inside chance creation instruction is really good because it means these players will start out in these really wide positions and then they'll transition their run inwards, and it's a really good attacking AI movement which is difficult for your opponent to defend. So I really like this instruction. Very effective, guys, don't underestimate it. And then we also have them on the get in behind instruction, so obviously they utilize their pace to get in behind the opponent's defensive line. Very important to do that with the wingers, and then get into the box across so these players are not hesitant to get into the penalty area when around that space, basically, because balanced crossing runs, they can be really hesitant, and that is not good, guys. So moving on to the cam, we actually have this player on comeback on defense and get into the box for cross. We have him on comeback on defense to kind of compensate for the fact that we don't have the two wingers coming back to defend as much. So by putting this player on comeback on defense, it means we'll defend with a solid midfield 3. So this cam will come back to defend as like a third centre mid, really, in a lot of situations. Somebody with a high work rate is really good in this position, like Griezmann, because it means they'll fulfill their duties perfectly. We also have them on get into the box for cross, so they are not hesitant to get into the penalty areas and help you out as much as possible there. Now, for the left centre mid, guys, the more defensive-minded midfielder, we have him on stay back while attacking and cover centre. We have him on stay back while attacking because obviously he is more defensive minded, so we don't want him to go flying forward if he is our defensive player. Pretty self-explanatory. And we also have him on cover centre, so he does primarily cover those central areas and block those attacks out through the middle, which is super important, guys. For the right centre mid, the more box-to-box style midfielder, in my case, I leave them on the default settings and then just pop them on cover centre. We leave this player on the default settings because they are a more box-to-box style player, so we don't just want to restrict them to defending. Sometimes we want them to attack and help us transition, so we just leave them alone and let them do their own thing. Really good, guys. Somebody with a high work rate is fantastic in this position. Also, cover centre as well, obviously, to defend those central areas primarily. Now, for the fullbacks, guys, on your more attacking-minded fullback, just have them on balanced attack. This is to give you an extra option in attack. Sometimes they'll make the overlapping runs because they're on mixed attack, so when your winger, for example, cuts inside, this player can make the overlapping run, and if the winger stays up wide, they can make an inverted run. So it's just really nice to have that extra player in attack. Does really help you out. For the other fullback, guys, the more defensive minded one, we have them on stay back while attacking and mixed attack or overlap. Doesn't really matter. It's just so we always have 3 defenders back at a time to keep you as defensively sound as possible. And then the 2 centre backs, guys, I leave them alone, and the goalkeeper I also leave them alone, but you can do comes for crosses and sweeper keeper if you would like. But yeah, guys, that is it for the video. If you have enjoyed or found this useful, please be sure to drop this video a thumbs up, as it does really help me out. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out, guys.